Hello and welcome to the Robox Academy. In this video we will be looking at the bullet CCTV camera style, which is one of the more traditional styles of CCTV cameras out of the three styles that we've touched on. First thing to bear in mind is in your search you're going to see many different types of bullet cameras. Don't let that put you off because they all fall under the umbrella of a bullet camera. The reason for the different styles and sizes of this camera is more often than not due to the different lens facilities available in this style. So for example, if you look at the very right hand side, the reason that camera is larger than the other two is because it has a very focal lens which takes up more space, and therefore there's a slightly bigger body. So it's usually down to the lens and the infrared. So for cameras that have a longer infrared capacity, you'll normally need more technology squeezed into the actual build of the camera, and therefore it might be slightly bigger. We will touch on this in another video. Now let's start with the advantage of a bullet camera. The first thing that's quite obvious is that it's a great visual deterrent. Now, especially in very large buildings, you might want to choose a bullet camera so that it will be known that you've got some security outdoors. Sometimes when cameras are fitted very high up, the bullet can be a great camera for that visual deterrent. Another advantage is you get much better motion. By that I don't mean an automatic motion like pan, tilt, zoom, but the actual bracket. By loosening the grub screws, you can maneuver the body from, you get quite a nice 3-axis, 360 degree, 180 flip on it. So it's easier to move around and point in the direction of your object. Another advantage of the bullet cameras, especially these days, is that you normally have what's known as a lens and infrared separator. That separates the lens from the infrared. What that prevents is something known as IR bleed in other cameras, where the infrared can essentially leak into the lens and give you like a ghosted image. So here's an example of a camera which has a lens and infrared separator, and you can see it looks brilliant. Just bear one thing in mind is that these days you do actually get cameras with low light facilities. Here's an example of that, which is a camera that gives you a color image at night. Now just be aware of one thing. In order for you to have this feature, you do need to have some light. In this example, you can see there are some lamps and guard lights around there which give the camera a color image. So you do need to have some light. Now, while the image might appear nice and light, if you were to physically go at this location, it would appear a lot darker to your eyes. The reason it's appearing light is because the camera's processing power allows it to give you this color image at night. One of the advantages, obviously, of using this technology is that you get a color image as opposed to a black and white image. Another advantage of a bullet is that due to the size, you will find this camera with some of the more advanced features. For example, most of the number plate recognition cameras will be bullet, and those which have a much larger lens variation, for example, when you're looking beyond 100 meters and you need a much bigger lens, there will almost always be a bullet camera, and that's because the size of the camera can accommodate for larger lenses. Some of the disadvantages of a bullet is that aesthetically they're not the most pleasing of cameras, especially at lower heights. So for example, in this image, which is a domestic property in the United Kingdom where they have fitted a turret dome, the last thing you would want is a bullet camera at this height. Not only does it compromise your security because the camera can essentially be yanked off, but it doesn't look that great. Now, this camera is okay for when it's out of reach. So just bear that in mind. Is if you are choosing this type of camera, I would just suggest it's out of reach, and then it's not a bad choice. So in this example of it being used in a commercial premises is a prime example of where a bullet should be used. That's it. Thank you very much for watching and listening. If you have any comments, please drop them below. And if there are any other videos you'd like us to make, please drop us a comment below and we will try our best to accommodate for your feedback. Thank you very much and have a great day.